Hello, and welcome to Parent Quick Smarts for First Grade Unit 11. In this unit, we will illuminate the components of telling time that your child will be expected to know. This will be the first official introduction to clocks that your child will experience in school. In first grade, students will be expected to tell and read time to the hour and half hour on analog and digital clocks. During this process, students will also learn the parts of the analog clock face, such as the minute hand and the hour hand. It won't be until second grade that children will learn time to the nearest 5 minutes, and then third grade that they will learn time to the nearest minute. Since time is such an abstract concept, this progression allows for a deep and thorough understanding of this critical skill. What is time? Time is a very challenging concept to explain to a young child. As adults, we think of time as a duration of an event from beginning to end. But time is really passing constantly without end. It cannot be seen or felt. Many children find it difficult to understand this concept of time and the relationship of the two moving hands on the clock. As students are learning the differences between digital and analog clocks, they will notice that digital clocks are way easier to read because they show the time in the same way that we write time. Children may even wonder why we use analog clocks at all. Analog clocks are important because they show relative time. For instance, we can see that 7:55 is close to 8 o'clock since the hour hand is close to the 8. Analog clocks are also great tools to illustrate how many seconds are in a minute and how many minutes are in an hour. To help children make sense of analog clocks, we can relate back to their experiences with counting and ordering numbers. The number on a clock face are in order from 1 to 12. Instead of displaying the numbers in a row, they are just displayed in a circle around the clock face, equidistant apart. It will be beneficial for students to look for counting patterns on the clock face. What do you notice happens after you count 12? Well, it's important for students to see that since time is cyclical, the clock starts over at 1 after the 12. So what else do we need to be able to tell time? Well, we need a minute and an hour hand. The hour hand is first introduced to children alone, without the minute hand. This gives students time to investigate the hour hand and its function telling time to the hour and half hour. This also allows for practice with approximating time. For example, we can see here that this clock shows about 2 o'clock. For students to have a strong understanding of the hour hand, we can represent the face of a clock as a number line. If we are looking at the 5 o'clock hour, the hour hand points directly at the 5. As time passes from 5 to 6 o'clock, the hour hand moves closer to the 6, but is still within the 5 o'clock hour. This helps children reason the movement of the hour hand using its location to approximate time to the hour. Finally, with the introduction of the minute hand, students will discover that anytime the minute hand is pointing to the 12, the time is exactly on the hour. As students are introduced to the minute hand, they also become familiar with the concept of half an hour. A half hour is represented on an analog clock with the minute hand pointing to the 6. Since 6 is half of 12, the minute hand will travel halfway around the clock to denote 30 minutes, or half past the hour. We can use the number line concept to show time to the half hour using the hour hand as well. Where would the hour hand be when it's 9:30? We know that 9:30 is halfway between 9 and 10 o'clock. Therefore, when we are using both hands to show 9:30, the hour hand is pointing halfway between the 9 and the 10 o'clock, and the minute hand has traveled halfway around the circle to point to the 6 or the halfway mark. To enhance your child's understanding of time to the hour and half hour, here are some questions you might want to ask. Show me which hand is the minute hand and which hand is the hour hand. How do you know? How many minutes have passed when the minute hand is on the 6? What if the minute hand is on the 12? Another student said that this clock shows 8:30, as you are pointing to a clock that shows 7:30. What did he or she do wrong? Why does this clock not show 12:06, as you are pointing to a clock that shows 6 o'clock? You can make a matching game at home using your old plastic eggs. Draw a picture of a specific time on an analog clock and on one half of the egg, and write the digital time on the other half. Split the eggs apart and mix them around. Your child can then find matching times, putting the eggs back together. Just be sure to stick with the times that are on the hour and the half hour. To challenge your child, you can put the digital time on a different color egg than the matching analog time. It is hard to pinpoint just one connection of time to the real world because time is such an integrated part of our daily lives and routines. Since we speak of time as almost like a currency that we use, spending and saving it, students may develop misconceptions about the passage of time. To help your child get a better idea about how long activities take, talk with him about time throughout the day. You may mention that you wake up at 6 o'clock every day, or that dinner is usually eaten around 5:30 in the evening. The more experiences they have with the concept of time, the deeper their understanding will be. Thank you for joining us today for Parent Quick Smarts. Remember, the best way to support your child's education is to keep in effective communication with your child's teacher. Until next time, take a look at these websites, thinkcentral.com and elementarymath.mysdhc.org. See you next episode.